So I was saying the first thing you do, you clone what you need to clone, or if you already have the repository, you pull it. So this is how you start a project. I'm going to go to the labs, for example. Now, if it is given to you, you have something to start up with, good. Just double click on it and open it. If you don't, create a project right there. Create a project right there and just start up your project. But when I'm going to start this, you'll see that it's going to start like this. Now I gave you trial. Okay. Now I gave you the let me see, which one did it open? Did it open with Visual Studio 2026 or whichever, it doesn't matter. So what we do over here, we're gonna, the main that you have, the unit test that you have, oh, this is the one that I have done in, so you start with your unit test, and I have already done this over here, so you'll see. So I start up the project like this. So you create your own main. You will be given a tester, but if you look at your tester, the tester goes through everything that you have. So the unit test that you see goes through everything. It's overwhelming and big, so you don't go with that one first. You write your own tester, and as you are progressing through the development of your project, so I created the bar thingy, all the safeguards that I needed to have. I created it. I put my namespace, started everything, set my constructor to be defaulted. So when we say equal to default, we know it means create an empty one. And since I have initialized this over here, it means all my attributes will be initialized for any constructor before any constructor begins. So that's a good thing. Now, I have the default constructor, and I create a 2-argument constructor, and I start implementing. So as soon as you do that, you start implementing what you are to implement. There you go. I'll do my implementation over here and do what the program requires to, and immediately see if I can test it. Okay? So right after doing this, I'm going to go to main and just create the two things, edge cases that I want, a default one and a regular one, and I walk through it, see if it works properly. Then after that, I do with the rest. So now the next step is to overload the typecast operators. So I'm going to do the typecast for the constant character pointer and return the title as it asks me. Then you go to main and you write a tester just for that to see if it works or not. Okay? And as easy as that. So you want, like, I wanted to see if the default constructor is working properly or not. So I'm going to say the target of cast is equal to 0. Then I did it properly. If not, I didn't. Then I do test the next one, that is the assignment operator. So I'll go design my assignment operator. Then I'll write the tester for it. And then test it. And then you keep going step by step like that. Okay? That's one way. Number two, what you can do is start writing all the things, all the functions that the assignment asks you to do. So what you can do, number two, this is going step by step as the assignment is asking, or the project is asking you to do. Obviously, if my assignment operator requires the cast, I would know that I have to do the cast before the assignment operator. But if another way of doing it is to start all the mockups, start all the empty parts of my class, start all my attributes, all the functionalities of my class as empty function. It's called creating mockups. So what I will do, I'm going to go to the definition of the assignment that I have in here. So the definition of the assignment is telling me to have these things created. So operator size, const, you simply get that, or you type it. You put it in your header file, and you add it. Let me go back here, copy. Or let me actually go to the page, it's easier. There you go. So this is what I want. I'm going to copy that. Go back here and add it. So operator size I add. I go back again to the definition. Boolean I will add. Then I will generate its CPP part. So I'm going to go to the CPP part and generate the operator for it. And if for the other one, operator bool, so I'm going to create that one. So it's going to be bar operator bool const. So I create that one. Then you just create some mockups. So in here, I'm going to say return 0. I don't care what the logic is. I make it compilable. In here, I'm going to say return true. That's it. And in here, I'm going to say, if you're an organized person, you're going to say over here to do, to implement, or yeah, mockup. Mockup. So you're tagging it to know that these are mockups. You save it, and you compile it right away. So you go to your Explorer, and you compile that. So I'm going to compile this, see if it gets compiled, which means my syntax is correct. It's ready for implementation. These are just mockups. They're not going to work. They just compile. And I continue with everything. So you go through everything that you have. So I want to create mutators over here. So implement mutators as operators. So I need to create the assignment. It's already done. I've done that. So the assignment is already created for the example that I had. But for the rest, for example, I want to implement this one. You copy. You go to your header file. You add the prototype. You create the mock-up for it. It says return bar. I'm just going to say over here return this. And that's it. I'm not implementing. The to-do is already over there. We're going to do that later on, see what we're going to do. So you do it for all the functions that you have. You literally create a class with all the things that are supposed to be done, but with empty functions. And you compile it. Make sure it compiles. Not build, compile. So only compile that file. After the compilation is done, now you know you have a sound syntax. One by one, you go just fill the functions with the logic that is required. And you compile. And you compile. And you keep doing. So every function that you implement, you only compile to make sure there is no syntax error. And you keep going. Because all the function mockups are created, even if functions are dependent to each other, you can call them. You know they're not going to work, but you can call them. And you can compile them. Like this, when everything is done, you have a module that is compiled perfectly. All you need to do is check your logic. Then you start one by one executing and going through to see if the logic is actually sound. Like that, your development time is reduced by the factor of 10. You're going to finish it 10 times faster. Those who just code, and then compile, they get hit by 50,000 errors and they don't know which one comes first, which one comes next. And it's an extremely disappointing experience. For this, you give yourself a dopamine for every single successful compile that you have. And it boosts your morale. Therefore, you program better. It's very important. If you write a program and you see 9,000 errors, and that's like a huge slap in the face, you don't want that. Okay? So do it this way, and you'll be fine. So that's the thing that I wanted to say. Now, you can continue to do it this way, or especially for your project, make sure you do it this way. And do not use the tester that I give you right off the bat. Write your own tester. One by one, the pieces that you have, focus on that one, do the testing, go to next, and then after everything's done, you can run my unit test. And that's that. Questions? We good? All right.